Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today as we're going to discuss the energies of Black Moon Lilith now in Sagittarius. She entered Sagittarius on December 20th, 2025, and she will spend about 9 months here, exiting the sign on September 16th, 2026. Now, Black Moon Lilith takes about 9 years to move through all 12 astrology signs. So she has not been here in Sagittarius for 9 years, but that can be a helpful reference point as you look back at perhaps anything that was triggered or coming up for you back in 2015. Granted, there were many other energies in play at that time, but specifically, you'd be looking at the Sagittarius areas of your chart. And so that's what you want to reference here as we discuss Black Moon Lilith in Sagittarius, is that this is where you're going to have her presence moving through this house or houses where you have Sagittarian energies. Now, Black Moon Lilith always moves direct. She never moves retrograde, and she spends about a week to maybe 9 days in each degree point. She has a fairly steady pace that she moves through as she covers all 30 degrees of an astrology sign. Now, it's important to note that Black Moon Lilith is a fictional point in the lunar apogee. The lunar apogee is where the moon is the darkest. It's its furthest point away from the earth. So this right there helps us to establish the deeper archetypal presence of Black Moon Lilith. Here she is in the darkest point of the moon's orbit, where we keep feelings, urges, primal thoughts, deeper desires all out of view from the light, from ourselves at times. This is where energy is in the shadows. It's in the darker territory of our unconscious. And so this is where, when we work with Black Moon Lilith and we understand the messages that she's bringing forward, we're meant to see that we are complex beings and that our emotional nature can harbor many layers. And so the Black Moon Lilith archetype is where we don't want to have to make our feelings or reactions or truth fit into any nicely wrapped up package. This is certainly not about social etiquette or social expectations. This is where what you feel is wild, free, raw, and primal. It's where you honor this is your emotional truth, even if it's uncomfortable, if it doesn't look so desirable or pretty. This is where, again, the emotional energy can be at its darkest expression. And so Black Moon Lilith is a guide, and she is here to guide you through the themes of these expressions with full ownership and a deeper awareness of your powerful urges without rejecting your truth. And so I feel that there's this beautiful gift she offers of a safe space for your shadow expressions, your deeper motivations and truthful feelings, wherever they may be on the spectrum. And this is where a freedom is innately felt in what Black Moon Lilith wants you to connect with, wants you to understand about your full emotional world. And so as she moves through Sagittarius here until the middle of September 2026, Black Moon Lilith is opening up more stories, opinions, judgments, ideals, belief systems, ideas and thoughts that she has been holding for the past 9 years. And that's because the last time she was in Sagittarius was 9 years ago. And so as she moves through this sign, she becomes more of a raw truth teller. She is restless and rebellious. She is freedom loving. She wants to break the systems. She doesn't want to participate in rules or traditions. She doesn't want any regulations that limit her freedom. So you might find that something in the Sagittarius energies in your chart are waking up and they are pissed off. They are mad. There's things that maybe you've been trying to toe the line with or understand different ideologies, philosophies, different worldviews. But now Black Moon Lilith, she brings in what she really feels. And in Sagittarius, it is big, it is expansive, and it is loud. So here she is questioning what is being discussed. She's questioning belief systems that she has been told to believe in. She pushes back on what others are telling her are good, correct, or truthful. She's bringing up what we really think, even if it is unpopular and misunderstood. Now, one of the themes that comes up with Sagittarius energy is that Sagittarius is often alienated. It is cast away because it is the energy of mutable fire that seeks to understand more than what the collective or majority already subscribes to. And in order to seek new knowledge and to have greater wisdom, you must strike out on a new path, go further than you've gone before. And when you do so, you risk being separate. You risk being apart from the collective or from the many. There is a pioneering energy with Sagittarius, where there's a desire to learn more. Let me understand this differently. And then once I do so, I'll bring it back to the collective and offer them a new way of considering what they've previously been taught or told. And so there are ways that this does not pan out well for the Sagittarius energy. This is where the energy of a heretic becomes prominent. That whatever is not aligned with an accepted truth is considered heresy. The heretic challenges accepted norms, accepted institutional beliefs and religious beliefs, challenges authority, says we're not going to go along with what you're telling us we have to believe. So here we have the nonconformist, the renegade, the dissenter, people who are seen as troublemakers, stirring up the pot, creating trouble. And what can happen is that this is in fact the person who has gone further to understand more, to deviate from those accepted norms, and is bringing back more to integrate and consider that can ultimately be useful, potentially, but it's not viewed that way at first. So this is very much the energy here of Black Moon Lilith in Sagittarius, where it could open up your wounds of being a heretic from other lifetimes and or this lifetime, from other timelines or dimensions. It can open up when you were a dissenter, a free thinker, a nonconformist. And then that can also lead, as history has certainly shown us, to the wound of persecution, to feeling persecuted for being different, whether that is for your political beliefs, race, culture, religion. These are all Sagittarian personal identity themes. And so persecution can come up as a strong wound with Black Moon Lilith in Sagittarius as well, where you are persecuted for being different, for what you believe, for what you think. And there can be extremes within that as well. And those extremes could be very inhumane acts. It could be harassment and bullying, all the way to murder, enslavement, and other extreme forms of punishment. And so this Black Moon Lilith in Sagittarius is perhaps bringing forward these soul experiences and the soul wisdom you've accumulated through any and all lifetimes that have involved these themes. And maybe it's been hidden away in the darkness of your emotional body, especially for the past 9 years. And now something is awakening within you that is seeking expression or an outlet of some kind. And it can show up as anger, rage, revenge, shame, and any other deep feelings that are energetically corded to these deep emotions. Because Black Moon Lilith is associated with the moon, she's directly related to what your emotional body is holding. And so this can bring up what you need to emotionally clear for yourself in a healthy, empowering manner. But keep in mind, you might not know the full story. You might not know the origination of the wound or the experience. All you know is what's arising within you and what is powerfully moving through you. So anything that can help you work with the emotional body is always a useful tool with Black Moon Lilith. Anything here that allows you to clear out any of these themes related to persecution, alienation, being called or feeling like a heretic, or anything else that aligns for you within the Sagittarius themes. This would be a useful way of loving and honoring what you're really feeling that isn't meant to be necessarily socially acceptable. This is not meant to be feelings that you need other people to validate or understand. Black Moon Lilith is where we do our personal shadow work with our deep emotions, and to feel empowered doing so, to be in charge of this part of yourself, to love and accept that you are a very vast energy vessel that holds a full spectrum of energy, everything from the purest states of love to the deep intensities of fear and hate. And so whatever is arising for you is coming up for your attention for a reason. And part of the gift is to look at, how can I powerfully honor this truth for myself? How can I welcome it and know that it's a part of me without rejecting it, without pushing it away or thinking it has to be something else? Rather, how can I accept this is what I feel? It's valid. It has meaning of some kind, but this is what I'm going to consciously choose to do with the energy so that it doesn't become a weapon. It doesn't become weaponized emotions, weaponized energies. It doesn't create more havoc or anger or shame or revenge. Part of the wisdom of Black Moon Lilith is accepting the messages that she's bringing forward to you, but also allowing it to be something you honor within a sacred space, so that she doesn't create unintended consequences or outcome, and that she also doesn't perpetuate karmic wheels, karmic loops. And that can happen when Black Moon Lilith is too extreme. And that's because she is unaware of how she's using her power. And so when I see this energy right now, especially considering the current timeline of consciousness that we're in, we understand how our energy is powerful and that it will have a cause and effect. But I feel that this Black Moon Lilith in Sagittarius, she is meant to be very free and independent. She's meant to go her own way and do her own thing. She's not meant to be restrained. But what I feel is that we also understand what it means to work with that energy while you're in your own lane versus splattering it everywhere or directing it at anyone or anything. That would be a lower consciousness expression of Black Moon Lilith. And I feel this is important because as we move through this grand cycle of evolution, all the planets and points are also evolving. every consciousness is evolving. So that includes how we then embrace and work with the Black Moon Lilith expressions from a more conscious place. So she's going to be moving through the Sagittarius energies in your chart. And if you have any planets or points in Sagittarius, when Black Moon Lilith comes through and makes a conjunction to those points, she's going to open up some big feelings, big because it's Sagittarius, and also need more time to unleash and express herself. And so, for example, you might feel that you are suddenly triggered and really pissed off about something that you didn't realize you were unintentionally holding. And then out it comes is this big judgment, opinion, thought, expression, belief system that you're meant to hear and see it. And then as the energy moves forward, it can start to dissipate a bit, because that's how I see this Black Moon Lilith. After she makes a conjunction to any planet or point, she moves it out of her system. And she's hearing something within her energy that she needs to accept, a truth or a repressed part of herself that is coming alive for a reason. But because she is also evolving, she understands this is about me. This is about my soul history, my soul wisdom. Perhaps something is triggered for you that's highly active in another timeline right now, and it's bleeding over into this reality. And that's why you're feeling it and picking up on it. Maybe it's something that isn't exactly pertinent to your everyday, but it's something going on in your energy field in another dimension or realm. So that would be something to simply trust and feel into for yourself if you were checking in on, where is this coming from? What is this about? But she's bringing you something important here that's meant to be expressed. And how you do so is a demonstration of your own mastery. How you allow her to come out and be unleashed is something to honor, but it's also directly related to your energetic responsibility. And because she's in freedom-loving and fast-moving Sagittarius, these are going to be energies that come up and out, and then they move on. They aren't going to linger and churn, which was the case when Black Moon Lilith was in Scorpio. It could have felt like it was really hard to move through some things, like it was just churning away internally, digging in deeper, and leaving more of a lasting imprint. But now that she's in Sagittarius, there is more movement and spark here. You're meant to grow from it, and you might even start to feel how your evolution has been unfolding, even though it's been slow at times. You might see some things that all of a sudden you're just over it. You're no longer affected. You don't even care. You're no longer energetically tied to it. It's over, complete, and done. And you feel wild and free. And that can be one of the uplifting energy signatures here of Black Moon Lilith in Sagittarius, is that now you are ready to go and move on. There's no longer any kind of energetic cording or tied to previous emotional states. And you could feel much lighter and stepping into a whole new level of freedom. So keep in mind, she is going to bring up things that may be misunderstood, feelings of alienation, being ostracized, feeling different around individuals you've outgrown. And so you need to move on and set yourself free. You need to be self-honoring. She will guide you to do that. She is going to support you in your own independence, in following a path that supports your next life adventure, and wanting you to actively choose what you want in your life now. So she can help you strike out on your own and rebel against anything that's holding you back or holding you down. So you want to be aware of where she's moving in your chart by house placement, because it's the house or houses where you have Sagittarius energy that you are going to be a wild card. You are going to be unleashed and free, and there's going to be a part of you that's going to love what is bubbling up within you. Again, this hasn't happened for 9 years, and so that's why there could be some things that are coming to the surface now that you haven't even thought about over the past 9 years, that are showing you more of your truth, your needs, your desires, and what you want to move towards and learn next. This can certainly bring up more fiery feminine energies, whether that's in the individuals and or collective experiences. This Black Moon Lilith is going to be louder in her thoughts, ideas, and opinions. And so you might feel that it's easier to vocalize some of your true thoughts and what you really want. And because it takes her 9 years to move through the full astrology wheel, you might feel that it's right on time to be quite active with this energy, especially if you have a lot of fire in your chart, if you have planets or points in Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. This is going to feel like more of yourself is brought to life, and it could even feel quite invigorating. So as always, thank you so much for joining me for today's podcast episode. I hope this helps you identify one of these astrological energies here moving through your chart. And as always, I'll be back every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for a new episode for you. Thank you so much for being here. I greatly appreciate your time, energy, and presence, and I'll see you back here soon. Take good care.